In a year where we are getting some exciting sequels, such as Resident Evil Requiem and potentially the heavily rumoured Half-Life 3, we asked the question, what are the greatest video game sequels of all time? Let's discuss this and more on the Late Night Gamer podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Late Night Gamer podcast. I am your host, Welchy, and joining me tonight, as always, is Mr. Pop Figures himself, Andy.
Yes, hello guys. Happy to be back and can't wait to see what sequels we come up with and what it compares against.
And also our resident horror expert, Stephen.
Yes, hello everybody. Lovely to be back as always. And yeah, these lists are always really interesting because we always think that we know exactly what's going to be there, and then they have something weird in the top three, and we're like, what the hell? Although, in saying that, sometimes we've been pretty much bang on the money in some of the other lists. So just looking forward to seeing what this website ranks as the best video game sequel of all time.
Yeah, so for those who have been here for a while, will know what we're doing here, but for those that don't, we'll just reiterate it. So we're going to craft our own top 10 of top video game sequels and compare it to this random list I found online from gaming.net, which, as you can see in the title there, says 10 best video game sequels of all time. So their blurb says, sequels usually carry big expectations and most of them never live up to the hype. Every gamer knows the feeling of loving the first game and then getting disappointed when the follow-up misses the mark. Yet every once in a while, a sequel does the impossible. It takes everything that worked, throws in new ideas, and creates something unforgettable. These are the games that raise the bar, not just for their series, but for the whole industry. If you've ever wondered which sequels truly changed gaming forever, this list of best video game sequels of all time has the answers. The key bit there, I think, for me when we're creating our list is raising the bar. Like, it has to be a game that takes the first game and there's a noticeable big improvement. There's going to be some examples I think we'll go through where the sequel's amazing and it is better, but the first game is already great. There's some that we might try and make a case for. It's going to be interesting.
I'm waiting for your debates on certain games for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see what we go. We're going to try and come up with 10, and then what we'll do at the end of that is then compare it to what this website has done as well.
What is the article dated by? When is
2025, August 30th, 2025. Okay. So anything that came out end of last year to Death Stranding 2. Actually, I think that was August. So maybe that's why they did this.
Maybe.
Who's the name of the person? I can't quite catch it. Okay, so everyone, if this list is shit, that's the person you will go online and find and destroy. That's what we always say on these lists.
It's always interesting. They don't say whether it's him just making this list on his own, or if he's surveyed the company, the gaming.net. I did find a list online which was like voted by the readers. I was going to use that one, but I went with this one instead.
Okay.
So what we'll do, I've obviously got a list of games, and I'll make a list of what we decide is in or out as well.
Also, just to sort of clarify, this list, I'm assuming, is going to like direct sequels of an original. So I'm expecting like prequels and any of those kind of things are excluded, or not?
It's an interesting question because I think to define a sequel, it has to be a follow-on in the story. So the best example I can say of that is GTA 5. To me, is not a sequel of GTA 4. It's a standalone game in a series.
I mean,
I thought
you could argue it's a sequel of San Andreas, but
no, I've what Steve was saying. Well, this is how I took it. For example, Gears of War E-Day comes out. That's a prequel to the second game sort of thing.
I don't think that would count because it's a prequel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
not that that's out yet.
I don't know if Mafia the Old Country fits or not, but that
the
goes
only
back.
Other one that it's interesting that you mentioned Grand Theft Auto. I was kind of thinking, would in this list GTA 3? I know it's not.
I just realised I fucked up with my own one there. I'll start. I was going to say Red Dead 2, and that's a prequel.
Oh, I feel like they'll count. See, this is where it's interesting. What would they? Because I would say that Red Dead Redemption 2 would be in this list. But like GTA 3 was the game that took GTA from 2D to 3D, and
but is it a direct
raised the
follow-on
bar.
in story? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't genuinely know
Yeah,
about GTA 2. I
I
think
feel like GTA 3 was the first kind of it was a standalone, but it was sort of a follow. Again, I don't know.
It doesn't follow on from the story though. They said in their blurb it follows on from the story, right?
because
if it doesn't, that's a bit of a
it
game
doesn't mention
changer.
story.
Okay.
These are games that raise the bar, not just for their series, but the whole industry. Well, it says every gamer knows the feeling of loving the first game and getting disappointed when they follow up missing the mark.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think we're gonna know by this list, because I'm actually quite unsure about what they would consider as sequel. I think
we've got to make our own one anyway. We can play our own rules, and I would say, I mean, I think Red Dead 2 should be there because it is a massive. Is it a massive step up? It is a massive step up.
Yeah. But that means we'd have to count other prequels. If we're counting Red Dead Redemption 2, it would only be fair. We can't discourage the others.
Maybe we go through, and if we can get 10 sequels without Red Dead 2 and we're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will. But is there going to be one where, like, how is this in and not Red Dead 2? That's where it's going to get interesting. Sure. Okay, well, let's go with it. Obviously, there's a picture here, which we can all see. So I'm guessing this game's going to be in their list. Did either of you two come with Assassin's Creed 2?
I had it in my list. You did? I did have it. I put down a different
one. I put down Brotherhood because I prefer that over 2. And that follows on still from the story.
That is a sequel to what is part of the Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, it's part of the
line, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've always made it clear that in terms of like that first 3 games where I kind of really enjoyed Assassin's Creed and then fell off, Assassin's Creed 2 is one of the best, like, not just Assassin's Creed games, one of the best games I ever played back in the Xbox days. And I think a lot of people regard it in very high esteem. I know that. Yeah, I think that is the game where, if I remember rightly, it just hit the mark in every single area, and it expanded on, because there were bits in the first game that I loved, but other bits that really frustrated me, and those frustrations were then taken away in number 2. So that's why I think the fact they've used it as a picture, or they could just be trying to say, "Oh, we're gonna have Assassin's Creed 2, and fuck you guys, we're not." But I would say I would lean more towards number 2, but I think
I personally would choose. Obviously, I would choose Black Flag being my favorite game, but obviously that doesn't follow on from the story. So Brotherhood would be the one I go for in terms of it follows on from the story, at least from number 2.
It's a good question.
Obviously, that's my personal preference.
Does 2
I don't know how well they've both done.
Does 2 follow on from the first story?
I think so. I think they're all
part. I think
it's
a
trilogy, isn't it?
Okay.
It's all Ezio. Is that his name? Ezio? I think.
I know Brotherhood is, but number 1 is also Ezio, is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Because doesn't it kind of follow? It expands further on that computer system that you're in, which
they all do that.
They do.
Yeah.
But the only, for me, like, I don't know if there's a big enough jump from number 1 to number 2. Whereas in Brotherhood, I remember there's a lot more customization stuff, and you had your own hideout that you could upgrade, which is sort of why I liked it more. And then I think you could hire or like get people to join your Brotherhood. So that was another feature of it that was sort of new to the first 2 games, but I'm pretty sure anyway. Don't fully quote me.
It's been a long time since I played it.
Put them down as like a Assassin's Creed 2 / Brotherhood for now.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we might actually bump this one off the list personally.
Whoa.
There's so many good sequels, man. And well, we'll see. I don't know. I was going to bring, and I know that you two haven't played it, but this has to be there, Portal 2.
I knew you was going to say it.
Portal,
I was expecting it.
Portal 1 is great. Portal 1 is an instant classic, one of the greats. But 2 takes that to a whole nother fucking level. Like, you can beat Portal 1, especially once you know the puzzles. Obviously, once you don't know the puzzles, it's a bit longer, but it's not a long game. 2 hours probably. Portal 2 is a full-fledged, much longer experience. They introduce a character voiced by Ricky Gervais's mate, Stephen Merchant.
Big Merchant, yeah.
Who is unbelievably funny in this game. You get returning characters, which sounds funny if you don't know what Portal is, but you do get returning characters. Unbelievably well written. Puzzles are even better than the first game. They introduce co-op, which the co-op in this game is unfucking believable. This is a masterpiece, and I think number one is a masterpiece. But this game is way above and beyond, and I don't think a puzzle game will ever touch it personally. As much as I liked other recent puzzle games like Blueprints, the only thing that would beat this is Portal 3, which we're never gonna get. So I'm gonna chuck that one out there.
But
I think it's gonna be on their list for sure. I'll be sure stunned if it
I was
wasn't.
thinking it. I was thinking about Portal 2 in terms of I haven't even played it and I know how well respected it is within the community. I'm expecting it's probably on their list. So in terms of obviously I don't think Stephen's played it either, but
No.
yeah, I've obviously had
I
great things about it.
Yeah, I'm total agreement. I haven't played it, but I imagine it being on the list as well.
Yeah, there's other games as well that I haven't played that I think you guys might mention that could possibly be on the list as well. So
Stephen, what one do you want to recommend first?
So, I mean, there's some big hitters, but I'm going to save the big hitters till later. I'm going to throw in probably one of the best sort of DC games that I've ever played.
Here we go. That's what I was going to go with.
Batman Arkham City for me. I'd be shocked if it isn't on this list. I think that Arkham Asylum is a phenomenal game, but it is quite condensed and is restricted obviously to the asylum, and you get fleeting moments that take you outside. I remember sort of that scarecrow sequence, which I've mentioned many times on this podcast. I still regard that as one of the best levels that I've ever played in any video game. But what Arkham City does is it says, okay, these are the mechanics of Arkham Asylum. We're now going to open you up to the actual city of Arkham, but we're also going to you can essentially explore, but the game does a very clever job of keep you on the straight and narrow, because it kind of gives you that feeling of you're Batman. You can't piss around and, you've got Penguin, you've got Catwoman, you've got Robin, you've got Harvey Two-Face, you've got what's going on with the Joker. It's all of Batman's sort of greatest foes, but they're all massively important. Like, not one feels more important than the other. Where even though I love Arkham Knight, I love the trilogy. I even loved Arkham Origins, even though that's separate and probably the weakest one of the Arkham deck. But I felt like what Arkham Knight suffered with is because they went big to a massive scale. There were some moments where you cared about more enemies more than the other, and at not any moment, I mean, I'm not sure about how you felt about this, Welchy, there was not a single moment where one enemy overtook. Like, the story is the same in terms of how it flows in Arkham Asylum, but it's on a wider scale. And everything is improved, mastered. And I remember playing that over Christmas in 2011 or 12 maybe, and just thinking, we're not going to get a better superhero game than this. And although I think we've had Arkham Knight pushed it for me, I remember playing every single bit of that game. I didn't for Arkham City, but it was at that point where I just wasn't as I was 3 years younger, so when I got to Arkham Knight, I was more invested in doing every little bit. But I just think it's an incredible experience, so I would be stunned if it wasn't here.
Yeah, I had Arkham City down. I replayed it last year on the Switch and was blown away by it. I replayed Asylum a couple of years before that. It's hard. There's two examples in a row where I consider the first game to already be great, so it's kind of defeating the point. But City is a big jump up. Not just the open world. The boss battles are significantly better. The Mr. Freeze boss battle is genuinely brilliant. And it just takes everything, like it says on here, it takes everything that worked, it throws in new ideas and creates something unforgettable. That is literally what this game does. And I do think Arkham Knight, I love that game as well. But it's basically Arkham City with much better graphics, much more cinematic moments.
Yeah.
And the problem with that game is that the car isn't that fun to use. It's fun to drive around, but not the combat.
I think the problem about, again, I joked about all the time, it's based like Grand Theft Auto, but if you're Batman, because when it becomes a full-fledged tank, which is fun, like, don't get me wrong, it's a fun mechanic, but it's like a very Batman thing, like you would do. Like him having the Batmobile turn into a tank. I get it, they had to kind of use it. It couldn't just be something that you could drive. Yeah. But like in Arkham City, it probably is the most sort of true to Batman's story out of all of the Arkham games for me. And just in terms of that kind of, it really stuck to its comic book roots. I remember like late father, because he was a massive Batman fan, including the comic books, and I showed him like 10 minutes of Arkham Asylum, but when he started to see Arkham City, he was like, can I like just sit and watch you play this? And he didn't really care for video games. It was that impressive. Even though Arkham Asylum, you mentioned about the boss battles, had some pretty fun boss battles in there. But you're right, it took that mechanic and just everything was just more polished.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the games on this list are going to be where the video game developers kind of have got the foundations, and it's like playing a musical instrument when you get into your stride.
Yeah.
And you're hitting your tempo, hitting your mark, and like it's rare for a game to do that. But yeah, Arkham City absolutely nails that for me.
Yeah, completely agree. Andy, you haven't played them, have you?
I haven't played it. Obviously, I've again heard great things about the Batman games. I know they're obviously doing the Lego Dark Knight Legacy, whatever they called it.
Yeah.
Coming out soon. So yeah, obviously it's difficult to disagree, but we'll see what else comes up on the list.
What are you going to put forward, Andy?
I'm going to put forward the most obvious one that's going to be on this list for sure. It's Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
Because
I had it. Yeah.
It's the biggest jump up, I think, in any sequel, like any franchise I can think of. I do need to go back and play one at some point, but when people talk of Uncharted, like they just jump straight to number 2 because it is just the best game in that series, and the mechanics are so much smoother. The jumping around, the rolling around as Nathan Drake, everything in that game is a step up to number 1 by a mile. And it's like if you go play them back to back now, you notice that difference straight away, whereas in other games you won't notice that difference. But yeah, it has to be on this list for sure.
Yeah. Go on, Sim.
No, all I have to say is I was one of those players because I played all of the Uncharted games in 2024. So I started with 1 and was like, oh, this is really good. This is like really enjoyable, the remastered version. Got to 2 within sort of the opening shot of Uncharted 2. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Here we fucking go. And it just doesn't let up. There's so many iconic set pieces, which there are some of those moments in 1, 3, and 4, but 2 just continues and just doesn't stop. And I felt really kind of the best compliment I could give it. I was jealous that I wasn't around when it came out, because if I was around and playing it when that was released, oh my god, it must have felt like that moment of this is what video games can do. It is getting to that sort of level. And even though I still think 1 is like, I wouldn't discount 1. I think it's a lot of fun and it sets the foundations. But again, it's another perfect example of Naughty Dog just going, right, this is what we've shown you we can do. But if you think you've seen everything, just wait. And we'll probably talk about another Naughty Dog game later down the line in a similar mold in that sense, potentially. But yeah, I think it was the second game I wrote down on my list, Uncharted 2, like easily.
Yeah. Obviously me and Andy did play it at a time. We played a fucking ton of the multiplayer, which was also fantastic.
Yes, we did. It was.
But when I was creating the thumbnail for this episode, the first thing I searched was Uncharted 2 for the thumbnail. It was obvious. It was it's my number 1. If anyone ever said what's the best video game sequel off the top of your head, it was straight away I was Uncharted 2. Like in terms of jump up, it's just so significant. And I'd
agree.
I don't know if I like 2 or 4 more. I think 4 might have a slightly better story for me. But 2 is so good and so ahead of its time at the time. It just stands out. And I think sometimes you've got to give it credit for being that far ahead for when it was. So yeah, no doubt this is on our list for sure.
So sometimes even when you play a remastered game, you kind of get feelings of that. Oh, okay, this even now I know you've remastered and polished it, but it's not from what it was. But Uncharted 2, I played on like PS5, and you just like if you had released that now, it would have still been amazing. It would have obviously just been a little bit better graphically, but outside of that, it's faultless in every single department, and it's very rare for a game that if someone says to you anything of Uncharted 2 that you don't like, no, anything at all, no, not a single bit of that. Kind of one of those games you don't want it to end, and I wish I was around to do the multiplayer because the multiplayer sounded like it was a lot of fun as well.
It was, and 4 is as good as well actually. Next one I'm going to chuck out is a big jump up as well, in my opinion. It's Gears of War 2.
Yeah,
Gears of War 2 was
same.
phenomenal. Gears of War 1's phenomenal. Again, it's another one of those where the first game's great, but the second one, Gears 2, just hit a level. I was addicted to the multiplayer. I loved the story. Having replayed the story, it's still great even today. I actually think Uncharted 2 holds up a lot better than Gears of War 2 does. But for its time, Gears of War 2 was phenomenal. Introduced a cool new villain with I'm gonna forget his name now, Scourge, something like Can't be that good if I can't remember his name. But the double chainsaw, it's basically the Darth Maul of Gears of War.
Yeah.
You go underground, you get to ride Brumax. It's a hell of a lot of fun. The multiplayer is fantastic, and it introduced Horde mode, which I would argue did change video games for a while. I think
Yeah.
in my mind, it was the first game to do it properly, and then a lot of games after that have copied or done something similar. Fantastic game. I think I'd be surprised if it's on their list, because I think they're going to have some games that we're not even thinking of. I think Gears 2 might miss their list, but I think
Yeah, I
as a
think there
game
might be
that
a lot
all
of older
three of
games
us
on
we
this
like,
list.
I think it should be there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with Reloaded coming out as well, that just shows you, like, obviously I haven't played them all recently enough to say myself, but with yourself, Welchy, when Reloaded came out, you can notice the difference in mechanics in terms of like from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, like everyone wants number 2 to be, or number 3 to be
2
sort of
and 3, yeah.
remade. Just because obviously the mechanics are a lot smoother, especially on the multiplayer, of course.
Stephen, back to you. What else are you going to add? We've got 5 games so far.
So I am going to stick with Naughty Dog, and I'm going to throw in The Last of Us Part 2 as one that I would be stunned if it is on this list.
I might
know
challenge you on
that
this one.
I know that there's going to feel like there might be a little bit of a challenge. I think that in terms of the gameplay of Last of Us Part 2, I mean, I played Part 1 as the PS5 version. So, and then I had Last of Us 2 on the PS4 version. I would need to go back and play the remaster. So I can't really speak about the fact of the gameplay because it felt incredibly similar from Part 1 to Part 2. But what I will say is in terms of story, like Part 1 I loved, and I still can't work out which one I prefer. I have a
You're
different.
defeating your whole
Is that
argument
not
here.
defeating your part of the object, that your argument then, if you don't know which one you prefer?
Yeah, but what?
You've just like contradicted yourself so
No,
much.
I
You
mean,
said the
no.
gameplay's the
Well,
same, and you
yeah,
just said
yeah,
you can't decide which story you love
if you
the
allow
most.
me to finish, because I was saying that, right? What I was going to say was that, yeah, sometimes I wake up and I can't work out which one I like more, but they're for different reasons. Because as I keep saying, Part 1 is all about love, and Part 2 is all about hate. And Part 2 is one of the most depressing experiences that you will ever have in a video game.
Yep.
Like, I haven't played a video game where I hurt all the way throughout. That hurt came at the very early hours of the game, and it doesn't let up until the last shot. And I just think it's one of those games where I've never had a video game make me change my perceptions of people so quickly.
Yep.
I am obviously playing Life is Strange at the moment, which is giving me kind of similar things in terms of that, you know, you'll find out a bit more about a character and it will change your perception in a very specific sort of way without giving any spoilers away. But it hasn't got to that level of Last of Us Part 2 where I felt like I was abused. And I mean that in a positive way, because that's exactly what Naughty Dog wanted to give. Where, like, as Part 1, you get that hope and that feeling of love and that bond between Joe and Ellie. Part 2 takes that notion and just changed it on its head. So just for that alone, I would regard it as one of the best video game sequels of all time. But it's the reason why I've contradicted myself is because Part 1 is brilliant, but for a slightly different reason. So therefore, I can't work out which is my personal preference. That doesn't mean that it shouldn't be in this list because of the quality of it.
I think it does, because based on the summary and what they said about what makes what a best sequel, the fact that you're sort of having these arguments yourself about you love them for different reasons, that doesn't mean Last of Us Part 2 has jumped up. So you're saying you like Part 1 for love,
yeah,
the Ellie and Joel story, number 2 for hate and stuff. The gameplay you said is very similar or the same. It hasn't actually made that jump up from the first one. So I would argue, if you played these games together, just one full game, would you notice halfway through that there's a big difference?
Yes, you would.
Between...
If you played the original Last of Us 1.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And the original version of Last of Us 2. And the biggest difference, the stories are both incredible. I don't think they're different, very different, but they're both 10 out of 10 stories.
Absolutely.
The gameplay is significantly better and smoother on Last of Us Part 2, which you'd expect 7 years after the first
Yeah,
game.
because the first one came out 2013, the second one came in 2020.
yeah.
So that's why I made it clear when I was saying about the gameplay that obviously I wasn't around in 2013 to play it. I imagine if I was around, and I wish I was, but obviously I was on Xbox, so it was an impossibility. If I played that when it came out and then played part 2, then the gameplay would have been much, much more improved and polished. And so I don't think that that's a fair reason of why it wouldn't be on the list. I'm surprised, Welchy. What would challenge you?
I
Because
just
obviously you
don't
played
think,
part 2.
yeah.
So would you not include it in your list then?
Some people rate number 1 better than number 2, don't they?
That is true.
Which,
But there's another game
obviously, I'm not
coming
saying
up
that's
that
you
I'm going
guys,
to talk
but
about, which I think you could make the same argument back to me, which is what I'm trying to
yeah,
be careful
I know
with.
exactly.
But I just don't think it's, for example, the step up in the games we've done so far. Portal 2, massive step up. Arkham Asylum to Arkham City, massive step up. Uncharted, Gears of War. I just think it has less of a jump up than those. And I'm contradicting myself because the next game I'm going to say is probably similar.
But the other thing you have to also remind yourself that the amount of awards it won, the fact that
So did the first one.
It got, yeah, I know. The first one did as well, but it was regarded. Reviews came out at the time saying it is one of the best video game sequels ever. I'm only going by when I watched the documentary, and I'm looking at it from this website perspective, or they consider all of those items and factors and put it in the list as a result of that. I still think personally it's in my top best video game sequels of all time. It doesn't, even though
both
it
games
might
are
be
in
the
my
only
top
one
5 games ever. So it's.
But
I don't
what I
think
meant,
we're disagreeing that it's like one of the best sequels. I think the disagreement is on number 1's so good that number 2 isn't a big enough jump up for it to be considered in like our rules for this top 10 for it to be in there.
but does it have to extend to that? Because it's not really
that's
fair
what
for it.
that's what the summary is. That's what we're going off. That's what we're making this top 10 list based on.
I'm going to say my next one, God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, and obviously there's going to be same arguments for that because obviously God of War, the first game is really good and sets a high standard straight away.
Yeah.
Ragnarok, obviously, it continues on from that and does improve, but
I'm going to make an argument here though.
It's going to be tricky.
You say the exact same argument for Last of Us.
All I would say is I know that's what they're looking at, but we're also divided our top 10. So our criteria doesn't necessarily have to extend to a game that is a step up. We could argue.
That's what we do.
You did
That's
say
what
that
we're
at the
doing
beginning,
this
though.
list. Yeah, that's what we're doing this list.
Well, can we change that? Do we have to? Because it means we can both get our games in Welchy if we just have that slight iteration.
My argument for Ragnarok is, and there's going to be light spoilers here, there is a change that happens in the game. You get to play a different way without giving much else away.
But doesn't that happen in The Last of Us Part 2 as well?
I was about to say exactly that, and that doesn't happen in Part 1, and you could argue that is a step
But
up.
what I'm going to say is the change in God of War is more substantial in terms of the style of gameplay.
But would you also argue with Last of Us Part 2? And what I'm trying to say is that when that change happens 2/3 of the way through, it then changes your perception completely of a certain character because it allows you to spend a prolonged period of time, and part of that you don't want to, and then you do want to, which is, I'm not spoiling anything there, but you can kind of understand where I'm going with that. That doesn't happen in Part 1 because you play as Joel pretty much all the way throughout. I think is there any moment in Part 1 where
you do play as Ellie?
You play. I thought you play as Ellie, but it's been a couple of years since I played Part 1.
I tell you what,
I just think Part 2 is a step up on that.
I'm going to put them both at the bottom of the list.
Okay.
Yeah, I
think they both are on the edge of being kicked off.
Personally, based on I think based on what we're going for in terms of this top 10 list, I don't think they make it.
Yeah.
If we were just generally doing a top 10 best sequels, choose whatever you want, they both definitely make it. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Another example that wouldn't make it is Spider-Man 2, because again, the jump up's not big enough. Although you get to play as, again, funny, these Sony sequels just seem to have 2 different characters every time in their sequel.
That's the conference games. Like, the because the first one's so good, like already, it's hard for them to
it's
make
hard
that,
to be the
that
massive
difference.
jump, and I do think the second one is better than the first.
Would you not argue that the mechanic of both Spider-Man and Miles is a step up from the first one?
I
Or are
wouldn't
you
call it a
saying not
mechanic
enough?
though. I mean, the mechanic is you can change at any point, but
Yeah.
GTA did that in 2013.
I
No, I
think
don't
if
think
you
it's a big enough
utilize,
step up. I think the Spider-Man 2 is less of a step up than The Last of Us and God of War.
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
But
So if we're
again,
not
it's
doing those, we can't do
difficult.
that.
No, I mean, I had Spider-Man 2 written down, but yeah,
I did
if
as
we're
well.
going through this notion of it, it's a challenging one. I mean, we could be dumbfounded because imagine if they
They're all on
incorporate
there.
one of
Yeah.
those three, or if they're all in there, we're like, oh, okay, we should have just caught with it quick and moved on. But
The other one, again, similar vein, and I wrote it with Spider-Man 2 because of this, is Jedi Survivor, which I know you two haven't played.
Yeah.
I think Jedi Survivor is much better than the first, but that's because I wasn't as keen on the story of number one, whereas a lot of people like both stories. In terms of gameplay, it's not too different. I mean, they did introduce some things. I'm not going to put it on because it's a similar thing where they're both exceptional games. I think Survivor is significantly better, but not enough to be on this list.
I also have another one sort of written down, which I think, yeah, more so for you, Welchy, because I don't think you've played it, Andy. Forza Horizon 2. And the only reason I say that is because Forza Horizon in of itself was amazing. Like, we got the first taste of the Horizon, like the music, but it was a pretty niche story because you were just kind of doing.
Though, does it continue on from the story of number one?
Yeah, I don't think they're continuations of stories.
So then that wouldn't make it a sequel.
It's just another.
No, they are.
It's just another.
No, they are.
Right?
I'll tell you why. Because in the first one, you are playing in multiple cups, and then you take on Darius Flint. And in the second game, you're introduced as the guy that took down Darius Flint in the last Horizon. So technically, that is a follow-on.
Okay.
Loosely, I remember that because I was like, when I played Forza Horizon 2, I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool notion. But the other reason why I say that I think Forza Horizon 2. Maybe I don't think it's going to make this list, but I wanted to kind of throw it out there. It's the first time that it introduced sort of the DLC. So we got the Fast and the Furious mini sort of DLC. I don't know if you played that, which was coincided with Fast and Furious 7 out in, I think it was 2015. It came out, and it was the first time that they were starting to incorporate that. You had the Hot Wheels DLC, which we didn't have any of that in the first Forza Horizon. And it started to kind of become a bit more on a wider scale. I remember sort of thinking, okay, this is a bit bigger and bolder. Obviously, every Forza has done that. Like every single one, we're starting to get to the point of like jumping out of a plane with your car and then landing on the turf and then moving, which we didn't get in the earlier editions. But I didn't know whether I loved Forza Horizon, but when Forza Horizon 2 came, it kind of just turned everything up to 11. So that would be my argument as to why you could argue it could be considered. But I do understand that some people might not consider it as a direct sequel. That could have just been like a niche little Easter egg.
I'll put it down with The Last of Us and Ragnarok's. Because you made a good argument for it. But again, I think we're going to have, well, I mean, we've only got 5 in the official list, but I think we're going to have more. Andy, I want to hear your next one. But before we do, we have a quick break. Welcome back to the Late Night Gamer podcast. We are creating our top 10 list of top 10 video game sequels. So far, we have Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood. We're kind of still deciding. Portal 2, Arkham City, Uncharted 2, and Gears of War 2. A lot of 2s at the minute. We've also got, kind of on the outskirts of our list, The Last of Us 2, God of War Ragnarok, and Forza Horizon 2. Andy, I said before the intermission, your turn next. What do you want to add to the list?
It's tricky because I've got some games written down, but I don't completely remember the games before it. But I'm going to check out The Witcher 3, just because obviously it did win Game of the Year.
Yep.
And I didn't play Witcher 2, so it's hard for me to argue why it's better than the second game. But obviously I know it's well respected within the community. It did win Game of the Year. I don't know what the year gap is between the two, but when people talk about The Witcher, they're talking about number 3. They're not talking about number 2 or number 1. So obviously that sort of game I love anyway, with terms of sort of role playing and sort of the fighting mechanics and stuff.
Yeah, 4-year gap.
4-year gap, yeah. So I don't know what the sort of improvement on the gameplay was from number 2 to number 3. I just know obviously it's well respected. People love The Witcher 3. It did get voted Game of the Year. It's for it to win. Obviously, Witcher 2 didn't win Game of the Year. I don't know if they'd started at that point or what it was competing against, but to make that jump up and win Game of the Year with it, I just think potentially it's going to be in their list as well. But then also something maybe like a Dark Souls game might also be
Interesting.
a good shout.
Have you played them? Like, would you put it in your our list?
It's tricky because I don't know. Dark Souls 3 is obviously, well, Bloodborne's obviously the game I remember the most, but Dark Souls 3, I don't know how much it changes from like number 1 to number 2, then number 3, in terms of like the mechanics and stuff. Obviously, I think number 3 is a lot smoother in terms of like the roll-in, sort of just the combat in general against the bosses and stuff. It's a lot easier to fight those. If you played number 1 to number 3, you're going to find it a lot easier starting on number 3 and playing that one through. But how big that difference is, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, they're quite old games. I haven't replayed them since. So
yeah, I've put The Witcher 3 in because I know how much you love that game. And despite not playing the second one, I think we can all agree we know just from what we know from games, listening to podcasts, stuff like that, we know it's a big step up. Dark Souls 3 I've put down with the others. We'll see at the end if we need a game to add on. We'll probably go to that list and see if we can add one in. I am going to chuck in Pokemon Gold and Silver.
I was expecting a Pokemon game at some point, but because there's so many, it's like...
There is so many. This is the closest thing you can argue that is a direct sequel, because at the end of the game, you go back to Kanto and go against all the people from the first game. So it is directly involved in that world. I mean, they're all involved in the Pokemon world, but there's no real link with Ruby and Sapphire, from what I can remember, to the first 2 games. Obviously, there's some games where you've got Black and White and then Black and White 2, which there's clearly a sequel there, but I didn't play those ones. But Gold and Silver, I would consider a sequel, and I do think it's a big jump up. One is a classic, don't get me wrong. Some people think Red and Blue are the best still. I do think Gold and Silver is what took this game from being a great game, like great series, to, oh, this has got potential to be phenomenal, and it is a phenomenal game. I love it. It's introduced the day and night mode, so you had different Pokemon come out in the day, different Pokemon come out in the night. It introduced a telephone, so you could ring trainers and you can have rematches with them, which meant the gameplay was almost endless now because the trainers you can fight constantly. I can't remember what else. It introduced, obviously, going back to Kanto and doing another 8 gyms, so 16 gyms rather than 8. And then you've got the fight with Red at the end as well. It's just a phenomenal game, and I think they remastered it on the Nintendo 3DS or DS, and that remaster is considered the best Pokemon game. Like, it is the ultimate game you can play. If anyone was to say one Pokemon game, what should I play? Everyone would say play Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I'm going to pick the original ones because that's what we're talking about here. I think you can't really pick a remaster, really. But they're just fantastic games. They're the first one to introduce new Pokemon, obviously, to the original 151. Absolutely nailed it. One has its issues. There's like barely any fire Pokemon, and this game just kind of rectified all that. It still had the rival. Like back in the Pokemon games nowadays are quite friendly. You don't really have a rival. It's all quite, I'm going to beat you. You're my best friend. I'm going to compete with you. It's like, that's good. But having someone that you used to hate in that game was so good. Introduced eggs as well. I don't think the first game had eggs. So you used to carry around an egg and it would hatch, and you had a baby Pokemon. It just took Pokemon to a whole nother level. I think it'd be in their list. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe not looking at Pokemon, but I think it's worthy.
Yeah, based on sort of what you said, and obviously the jump up in mechanics and stuff from the first one, I think it's a good argument to be in there for now. And yeah, it's tricky because when you like think of these lists, it's like, how far back have they gone?
Yeah.
Like, because I personally think they're potentially going to have, well, to be fair, they're all quite good, so maybe they won't. But like a Zelda game, haven't played them, but guarantee there might be one on their list. A Mario game.
True.
But I know there's a lot of Nintendo out there.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a blind spot for us. I'm more with the modern Zeldas and Marios and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen, we've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 7 in our full list, so we've got about one more each.
Okay. So I will chuck in a little game called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 from 2009.
Thank you. The real one.
That is
The
a
real
nice
one, not the
Yeah,
not the shit
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Real one.
Obviously, I know that COD 4 really is the Call of Duty that kind of
That's the baby. Yeah,
accelerates
that's the one that
Call
started
of
it
Duty
all.
community. Obviously for me, I have a weird sort of like feeling, and when we have like our gaming quizzes where you show me all these COD 4 maps, I literally played like I think one game, got into a challenge lobby, unlocked everything, and then focused on the campaign. So my multiplayer experience, I played a bit of Black Ops, but then I went to Modern Warfare 2 because I was late to the Call of Duty train. And Modern Warfare 2, when I was playing it, I was thinking this is like one of the best experiences across all 3 areas of campaign multiplayer and Spec Ops. And then like Modern Warfare 2 was the game that just sent the Call of Duty community into like oblivion. And for about, I don't know, from Modern Warfare 2 all the way up to Ghost, that was probably at Call of Duty's peak in terms of like,
Get rid of ghosts.
well, no, I said up to Ghost, sorry. Like it started to fall away from that point, but like, and I mean, my favorite one was Modern Warfare 3. That's the one I spent most amount of hours in. But Modern Warfare 2, I remember like with my friends after school, you had like the Rust, the 1v1 quick scope, no scope matches. You could do like free for alls of your own like death matches. If someone pissed you off, how would you solve the argument? Go into Rust and let's do a sniper match. Like the campaign kind of like is quite tame in the first half, and then in the second half it just goes absolutely completely and utterly bonkers in like such a great way. And then like the Spec Ops with the stars, and I do think that that is a sequel which takes the foundation of Call of Duty 4 and just goes times 10 on everywhere. And there's not a single part of that game that you like. I got annoyed and raged when you got killed, but outside of that, it was just so much fun. And you would come home from school and you would just turn on your Xbox and you would just like mercilessly kill those people. The amount of arguments I used to have with my friends who didn't play campaigns, and I would like almost cry and plead them to play it, and then I got called a wet wipe for doing the campaign. Apparently. So, you know, even back then I was trying to fight the campaign front and not winning any battles. But I remember like the ACR, the PP, the P90. I was about to say PP90, that's Modern Warfare 3. But I don't know if you guys agree that it just, for me, it is the Call of Duty that just takes things to the next level. And I do think it should be on this list. It would be another one. I'd be quite surprised if it wasn't, even though Call of Duty 4 is kind of like the GTA 3. It's that Call of Duty title that like takes it to the next sort of level. But I think Modern Warfare 2 kind of eclipses everything, really.
Call of Duty 4 is my baby. It will always be my number one. It just will be. But that's just because it was my first, I guess. Yeah. First. But I will agree that Modern Warfare 2 deserves to be here. I think your argument for Spec Ops is good, because I think Spec Ops was a good inclusion of a co-op mode. And
Loved
they
it.
could have just done what they could have done. They could have done zombies. World of War did zombies, which obviously everyone knows is great. It was like, what are Infinity Ward going to do? And they did something really good with Spec Ops. But this game just, Call of Duty 4 took Call of Duty from being a game to a serious product. But then Modern Warfare 2 just took that to another level. I would argue that 90% of famous YouTubers today would not be there because if it wasn't for Modern Warfare 2. Like,
of course.
Modern Warfare 2 was unbelievable for YouTube. Like the amount of content that was just pumped out every day for that game. I actually went back. That's funny. I was watching some of my old gameplay from my old channel the other day, and it was a Modern Warfare 2 video, and I hated it. My commentary was horrendous, but it was nice to reminisce and look back at that time and what I was talking about. I was like, wow, what a time! It was just a phenomenal game. The campaign's great. I think it's a worthy contender for the list.
I also think you've made a really interesting point about how like YouTube was kind of taken off to another level with that. Like not only that, I mean, you can't say like, oh, give FIFA a sequel, but like at that time when you've got FIFA at its kind of peak of its powers, you've got Modern Warfare 2 at the peak of its powers. Like for YouTube, this was like just gold dust and dynamite. I remember if I wasn't playing Call of Duty, I was watching Call of Duty videos or FIFA videos, and that at that point with all the other games I was playing, that was kind of my main sort of bread and butter. And I feel like for a lot of people around sort of that time, like if you weren't playing Call of Duty, like you were just getting bullied. And I don't advocate bullying, but it was kind of like one of those moments where like you couldn't not. As soon as I had the Xbox, it was like, oh, my parents were like, well, what's the popular game? Call of Duty. Like, is this suitable? I don't care if it's suitable or not, right? I have to play it. Right? There's no conversation or communication around that sort of point. But yeah, and it makes me reminisce of those times where just much more peaceful life, and just sort of your only problem would be if I can nail that 360 no scope, which I only did a couple of times, and it really pissed me off that I used to get killed constantly.
And your schoolwork and coursework, Stephen, of course, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Well,
but
I think I have the most time played on leaderboards on Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah,
nothing
you have a lot of
changes
time.
now.
Yeah.
It was
a great
funny.
game.
2009. I mean, I was only 11. Well, I played it in 2011 because I played it before Modern Warfare 3. But even at that point, it was still, and that was 2 years after.
Yeah.
Because I remember playing Black Ops and then going over to Modern Warfare 2 and being like, whoa, like, okay, there's a lot more people doing all of this kind of stuff on there. And that was 2 years after it came out. So that kind of just shows how
I was playing
impressive it was.
I was playing it 2 years ago when they reopened the lobbies on Xbox, and it was full of people. It's one everyone's going to go back to all the time.
Yeah. Did Modern Warfare 2 introduce Pro to like perks as well? So you had like obviously Commander Pro was the main one.
Yeah, it did.
Like obviously, I just remember running around with knife, the UMP 45, where it's called Commander Pro, just knifing everyone.
It
was just
introduced
so much fun.
More kill streaks. It used to be just
was it also
Harry Strike, Chopper Gunner, Nuke.
Was it One Man's Army as well? We got where you had the grenade. You had the grenade launcher that you could.
That's what ended up being my end of that game. When people realised you could keep noob tubing like that, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm done.
You could do like special maps like Afghan, I think Wasteland. Like you can, if you got this perfect point, you could get like a triple kill to start the game with, and then you're set up pretty much.
Good times.
Andy, another one to add? We've got to wrap up pretty quick.
Again, it's a tricky one because I don't remember 1 and 2 too much, and I don't even know if I played 2, but I did play part of 1. Max Payne 3, I thought I'd chuck it out there, see what you guys thought about it, and whether that was a big jump up or not from the first 1 or 2, or even if you say, I don't remember much about Max Payne 2, but
I'm not the expert here. I wouldn't know. I know 3 is meant to be great. I've not played any of them.
Yeah, it's tricky because number 3 is the main one I played, and I really enjoyed it. And because I don't think I played number 2, the jump from number 1 to number 3 was obviously big, but I don't know the jump from number 2 to number 3 as much.
Yeah, I mean, I've played all 3 of them, so I'm probably best placed to answer this point. I mean, my favourite is number 1. I didn't write down Max Payne 2 because it is a weaker than the first one. You could argue from the step up from what we get in Max Payne 2 to Max Payne 3. Yes, I personally didn't enjoy Max Payne 3 as much as I thought I was going to. So that's not discounting it. I'm in the minority. A lot of people love Max Payne 3. I just completed it, but I just didn't enjoy it. I don't quite know why I didn't enjoy it. I was kind of expecting something different to what it actually was. Whereas like the first 2 are quite niche. But then maybe I was being unfair back in the day because I was kind of throwing it back to the PS2 games, and this was an Xbox 360 game. So I feel like maybe if that ever gets remastered, I need to go back and revisit it. It is a step up graphically, and there's so many different mechanics, and it takes all of that and improves. So yes, it wins that sort of argument. It all depends if they regard that as an incredible game. I just can't say that because I didn't get on with it, but that's a personal thing on me. I know a lot of people really enjoy that.
It's a tricky one because I think there's 3 games that are better.
I will answer your okay. I'm going to answer your question with questions. If you think Max Payne 3 should go above any of these next ones, I'm about to say Mass Effect 2, Silent Hill 2, Resident Evil 2, and Halo 3. I feel like Halo 3 deserves a spot on here. The interesting thing with all of those is that the originals are all great again, which the whole point of having a great sequel is that you're going to have a great base to start with.
When you say Resident Evil, I did have Dead Space 2 written down, but I haven't said it only because
I don't think that's a big enough step up.
No, it's not a step up. The story, it's another one where the story of Dead Space 2 is great, and it's more scarier than number 1. Number 1's got a few scary moments, but actually the intensity and creepiness of number 2 is higher than number 1.
But I think
But
you can tell a game
it,
is the sequel is better when years and years down the line, if you ask people about a series, they're like we do with Uncharted, you go, oh, Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
With Dead Space, you
yeah,
go, oh, Dead Space 1. I
yeah,
think
no,
you go
that's
to that
true.
one
True.
first.
Yeah,
And just going back to that argument, you talk about Halo, most people go, oh, Halo 3.
Yeah,
I do think
true.
a lot of people say Halo 2 as well.
Good
So that's
argument.
if you want. Silent Hill, everyone goes straight to Silent Hill 2. Resident Evil's
yeah.
interesting because everyone seems to have a favorite. But I do think Resident Evil 2 tends to be regularly
I
number
would,
one.
Plus,
I would
it's
say
jump.
people.
Yeah. It's jump
Yeah,
up
so
number 1 either way.
I would,
So
I would say out of all of those, probably Resident Evil 2 would probably be
Yeah.
the one that I would have ahead. I mean, the other one that I also have written down was Outlast 2, but again, it's. I think it's though Outlast 2 is a very interesting point because Outlast 1 takes place solely in like the asylum, and what Outlast 2 does is it takes you to sort of an open
not open.
scale, like a wider
Yeah.
area that you roam. So you can't fight. You've still got your camera, but it gives you different kind of mechanics in terms of enemies that you've got to hide from, and like you go through like the cornfield sequence, you've got the hallucination sequence where you go back to the school,
Yeah.
and you didn't get that in the first one. So I do think
Oh, that shit me
Outlast 2 does, and people regard Outlast 2 as one of the scariest, not just horror sequels, but one of the scariest games you'll ever play. It is like horrendously like terrifying, and even for someone who myself, there are moments in that game that still stay in my memory. So actually, I'm backing myself. I'd say Outlast 2 deserves to be in there as well.
I don't know. Again, going back to the argument, I think if you say Outlast, I immediately go to Outlast 1. I don't know what the general consensus on that is.
But are you doing that because that was your first experience with it? So, and you hadn't seen a game like that. But if you take that bit away, would you then say that Outlast 2 is the better made game and therefore would be a better sequel? Just a question.
Yes, but is it a massive jump?
That's the thing. How we're defining massive, we'll debate on whether you agree with that.
I would argue Forbidden West is a great sequel. I know you don't like it as much as number 1. But it introduces a lot of things, including flying.
Yeah,
which I absolutely fucking love flying in any game, which I'll talk about later in the next episode. We've got one space left, so we've got one space, and we've got Last of Us 2's not in there, God of War Ragnarok's in there, Forza Horizon 2, Dark Souls 3, Red Dead 2's not in there yet. Are we going to just consider that a prequel?
I think so. I don't.
I think yeah. Okay. If it's not a direct sequel,
it's so interesting though, because it's a prequel in terms of story, but it takes the base gameplay mechanics and everything and takes it to another level. Anyway, we haven't got Halo 3 in there. We haven't got
all I would
Outlast
argue is in my top 3. It is like, and it's in no particular order: Red Dead Redemption 2, Uncharted 2, and Last of Us Part 2. But obviously, one of those is a prequel, and one of those you could argue isn't a major step up. So that's what makes it really challenging. And I still think a lot of people would say the one that's shouting to me is actually Resident Evil 2.
I'll put that on.
Personally.
That's in.
Oh, that's in. Right.
We've still
okay.
got that's 9 with that one.
What about an older Ratchet and Clank game?
See, I think of the first one.
People go,
every time.
yeah, I would as well. I think of the original PS2 game, and that was just so perfect. Even though the second one probably does better in terms of mechanical gameplay, I don't think it does. I don't think it goes anywhere to that point of like, whoa, this is a major step up. If you were saying, I don't know, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart to the original, absolutely, but it's not a direct sequel, so we can't count that. You said Halo as well.
Halo 3, I mean, people loved Halo 2, but Halo 3 was the one that took the Xbox 360 as well as like Gears of War and stuff. But it was like the game that PlayStation didn't have. PlayStation were trying to get it. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll read through listeners' comments and maybe that'll give us some inspiration.
Yes, potentially.
Because
there's probably
something we're forgetting.
I imagine it's I feel like there's an obvious one that we are missing that make this a lot easier, but I feel like there's like maybe a Mario game somewhere.
I purposely tried to ignore. I saw the comments coming in. I liking them and just trying not to look at them too much.
Yeah.
So the first comment in was from Ben. Ben wrote in saying best video game sequels are Uncharted 2, Assassin's Creed 2, Red Dead Redemption 2. Interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you not even think about it? You just think, oh, number 2, it's got to be that one.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 2. Okay, cool. I would agree with that. He said, I've only included second entries in the series and picked games where the step up from the first game is huge, which I would agree with.
Okay.
Jack then comes in and says, keeping it the same rules as Ben, I would say Gears 2, Assassin's Creed 2, Borderlands 2, interesting. Red Dead Redemption 2 again. It feels like we should probably add the Red Dead Redemption 2 on there. Ragnarok and Left 4 Dead 2, interesting.
Oh yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 is a great horror sequel.
Jack then also wanted to add in Wii Sports Resort, which I'm just not going to accept that one. And Tony Hawk's Underground 2, interesting.
There's so many Tony Hawk's games, though. Like, you could argue Pro Skater 4, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 over 3.
Then JJ Rose wrote in Uncharted 2. I think, is that everyone said that one? That's just the obvious one. Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking like we've got to add Red Dead 2 at this point. The Last of Us 2, sticking up for Stephen's point. Modern Warfare 2, which we've got. Killzone 2, which I fucking loved Killzone 2. Destroy All Humans 2, and Motorstorm at Pacific Rift.
I think we should add Red Dead Redemption 2 in. I think we'd get excited if we
when you asked the question in the podcast, in the Discord, did you say what we were sort of basing the list off? Because I think people just wrote down there.
I said sequels.
Yeah, but if you put in...
I didn't say anything about Massive Jump, but Ben made that rule.
Yeah.
Which we was going to do anyway. So I just said, particularly interested in your favorite video game sequels. And people ran with it, and everyone voted Red Dead 2.
Yeah, but I think based on...
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if it makes it. Yeah.
So this has been the most commented episode ever, so thank you for everyone writing in. Big Z also wrote in. He also messaged me separately saying, don't worry about mentioning all of them, because he did a lot of them which are the same as everyone else's.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to find the ones that aren't the same. So he did Saints Row 2, Prototype 2, which I liked as well. Kingdom Hearts 2, Devil May Cry 2, Sonic Adventure 2. Either of you two Sonic fans?
I started with Sonic Advance, so I can't remember any. I mean, that must have come before Sonic Advance, which I'm guessing anyway. But
Pokemon Gen 2, which is Gold and Silver, so yeah, I agree. Metal Gear Solid 2, Infamous 2, and Crash Bandicoot 2. But then I think he also had one in the private message to me. Oh, Bioshock 2, which I love Bioshock 2, Big Z, but I'm going to disagree with you because the same argument I said with Outlast and Dead Space and stuff. You think of Bioshock, you think of one, or you think of Infinite. I don't think anyone goes Bioshock or Bioshock 2, personally.
I would also say the same thing about Crash. I think if you think of Crash, you think of the original Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, agreed. Even though the second one adds bits to it, but yeah, I still think it doesn't go anywhere near the original.
This is tough. If I had to pick, I would personally pick either we break the rule and put in a prequel, which I don't think we should do, because technically it's not a sequel.
I don't think we should do.
I would go Halo 3.
I think.
Is that, have we put Resident Evil 2 in there yet?
Yeah.
Or is that one of the choices?
Yeah, that's in. No, that was in.
That's okay.
The thing is, if Red Dead Redemption 2 is in this list, then we've fucked up.
No, but we're not trying to.
No, this is
match.
I mean,
if anything, I will write to this guy and say, "Can you delete that one and put in a fucking sequel?"
So if they put it in there, you're not going to be happy with the rules they've put down.
They have said sequel.
True.
If you Google, I imagine if we Google the definition of sequel, it has to be a continuation of story, not a before the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think based on sort of, because I obviously haven't played all of those games, based on the knowledge that I know within the gaming community, I think Mass Effect 2 potentially.
Yeah, also a great shout. I loved 1, I loved 2, I loved 3. If I had to pick my favourite, I'd pick 2.
Whenever
ended
people talk about Mass Effect 2, I think they go to 2.
Yes,
that's what I hear.
I would agree. And same with Halo 3 and that. But
yeah, I think obviously it sounds like I've got like the decided vote if I've got those two games to choose from. I probably would lean, even though I've played the original Halo, but I've not played Mass Effect at all. I probably lean only more towards Halo only because it's Xbox's flagship
Yeah.
game, and I feel like if there was out of those two, I would say it's more likely for a Halo game to be in there. But that is the only
I
reason
think there's a good
that I
chance
would
they're
lean
both
more
there.
towards that. They could
Yeah.
both be there easily.
Okay, so our list. I don't know what we're gonna do with the Assassin's Creed game we got. Let's just stick with both. We're just gonna say an Assassin's Creed is gonna be in there. Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood for us.
Yep.
Portal 2, Arkham City, Uncharted 2, Gears of War 2, Witcher 3, Pokemon Gold Silver, like that comes as one obviously, Modern Warfare 2, Resident Evil 2, and Halo 3. I am gonna say we're gonna have 3 in their list.
I'll go
3.
4.
What do you know? What 3 that you think?
I would say Uncharted. I'll be fucking fuming if they haven't got Uncharted 2.
I think
that will be there. That's
Uncharted
for
2,
me.
Witcher 3. Maybe I'll go 4. I'll go 4. Uncharted 2, Witcher 3, Resident Evil 2. Oh, fuck, maybe 5. I'm going 5. Portal 2, Uncharted 2, Witcher 3, Resident Evil 2, Halo 3. Although they've got a picture of Assassin's Creed 2.
There might. I don't know if Halo 3 would be the Halo that's in there if there is a Halo game.
True.
Do you not think Modern Warfare 2 will get in there?
I think it should, but I don't think it's going to be in their list, no.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to pick any.
The thing is, there's so many games. Their top 10 could be completely different to ours. Like I think they're going to have a Zelda game.
Mario.
I think they have a Mario game. There's Nintendo games that'll be in this list that we haven't even thought about. But
shall we find
I think
out?
we pretty much, we've discussed pretty much most of the big ones anyway. So I'm now interested to see what they're going to say.
Obviously, there's a chance that they have taken games like The Last of Us 2, Ragnarok, and Red Dead 2.
Obviously, we said Death Stranding 2 before as well. That was out in time for this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's find out. Number 10.
We'll soon know from the first one. It'd be like Time Crisis 2 or some shit.
I mean, that's actually a good contender. Gaming.net's top 10 video games sequels. There we go. Portal 2 to start us off.
Okay, so we've got one.
1 for 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
a
little bit surprised it's not higher, but fine, we'll take it. Portal 2, fantastic game. I've said enough about that one. Number 9. Oh, Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
I'll say that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
So far, they're both number 2s as well, so they might have gone for number 2s only
games.
in there.
True.
Yeah.
They didn't say that in their blurb,
Which means
so that's bullshit on them. But fair enough.
I saw what number 8 is. It's a good shout.
Number 8, Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Yep, good.
Okay.
That is
So number 2.
We're 2 for 3, so
not bad. They've used a picture
be
from
worse.
the remake, which is obviously the better version, but obviously people consider the second original better as well. Number 7. Oh, Andy, Dark Souls.
Oh, it is
nice.
They've come through as well.
They've gone with 3, so you were bang on.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. At least we know their list now. It's not just
number
2s.
Yeah. I had it down there in our honorable mentions kind of area with Last of Us and that. So,
yeah, I did think it would get a shout because obviously people love the Souls games, and number 3 generally the better one out of the 3, just because it's newer.
So yeah, it says something like combat is faster, smoother.
Yeah,
which you all said. Huge bosses, weapons and magic, have plenty of ways to fight. Yeah, basically what you said. So cool, fair enough. That I can accept that one. So far I accept them all. Street Fighter 2 is a great shout.
Yeah.
No terrible ones so far.
Street Fighter games to me.
Number 6. Oh, Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What did we choose? Oh,
Halo
Stephen chose
3.
Halo, didn't he? Mass Effect 2, Stephen.
It could still be there.
Halo could still be here.
I just don't think it'd be Halo 3.
It could be Halo 2, yeah. It's definitely not going to be anything past 3. But yeah, Mass Effect 2, what a game. Highly recommend it for anyone who hasn't played it. Number 5. Top 5 games, sequels. The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's so much praise around Witcher 3. Like, I'm buzzing for the next one with Siri. I'm not sure as many people as are excited for that one as they were for The Witcher 3, but I'm like buzzing to play that and see how much it's.
Well, yeah, by the time it comes out, it'll be what, 12 or 13 years since Witcher 3, so
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a big jump up.
there's been
It'll be,
heavy rumors this year that they're going to have another DLC this year.
Yeah, well, obviously when I was watching the Kind of Funnies top, what's the game? Fantasy Created League game.
Yeah.
Obviously they allow expansions, and someone did
Someone
choose
chose it, did they?
someone chose a unannounced Witcher 3 DLC
Yeah.
to keep people happy, basically, until the new one comes out.
Yeah. Cool. I kind of thought this might be higher, but fine. Number 4. Assassin's Creed 2. So we're on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So what have we got so far? We've got Assassin's Creed, we've got Portal, we've got Witcher, and we've got Resident Evil. We've got 4 out of
And
6.
Oh, Mass Effect wasn't in our 10. It
No, it
was
wasn't an R1, no.
no.
4's not bad. I said 5 in the end when I finally decided on a number. Yeah, we said about Assassin's Creed 2. It was a good argument for both of you on your favourite, so.
Yeah, they used the picture as the main thing as well, didn't they?
But it's the best Assassin's Creed that I've ever played, and I think a lot of people share that same notion.
Black Flag. That's why it's getting remade.
Number 3. Uncharted 2, of course.
Yes.
Personally, I think this is number 1, but
yeah,
fine.
Number 1. I'm to see what they put at number 1 then.
We've spoke about this enough, and I imagine their blurb just says exactly what we say, to be honest. Number 2.
They did put it in.
Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm going to have to read the blurb for this because I call bullshit. I bet they didn't even mention it. So, open world games, blah, blah, blah. You play as Arthur Morgan. No, there's no mention of it. Okay, I'm going to have to write to this guy.
Yeah,
because
I would.
You have to reword the title to, I don't know. I don't know how you reword it, like second game in a franchise or something, or
yeah.
It's not a sequel. It's just not a sequel. I get it though. I get it, but I also disagree with it.
Yeah, it's a sequel in the franchise, but obviously a prequel in terms of story. So
I wouldn't even say it's a sequel. It's just the second. Yeah, it is the second entry in the Red Dead Redemption series, but it's not a direct sequel
because there's Red Dead Revolver, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's guess number 1.
What's number 1 then?
From our list, I can't imagine it's going to be anything that we've got as number 1.
I feel like I think Last of Us Part 2 is probably out of the window at this stage.
Yeah, I could see, like Andy said, a Mario or a Zelda that we haven't thought of.
Zelda is kind of screaming to be now at this point.
Unless they have gone for
but the thing is, like
Arkham City or Halo 3, but I doubt it.
Most of the Zelda games are like really well respected and have high score. It's like, do they see that as a high enough jump at any point?
Let's find out. Number 1.
God of War.
Oh, fuck.
Half-Life 2.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. I thought people like Half-Life 1 the most.
That's the interesting. Everyone loves Half-Life 2 as well, but I don't know how big that jump is. Graphically, yes. I guess there is.
What they've said, I've just read their blurb, and they're saying that it's at the top of their list of best video game sequels of all time because it changed how shooters were made, and that's kind of what they've mainly based their decision on. Graphics and sound were also forward of their time.
And they talk about the gravity gun. This game had a really good physics engine, and I remember using the gravity gun, so that's fair.
Would you still say that you'd put that ahead of Red Dead Redemption 2 and Uncharted 2?
I would put it ahead of Uncharted 2.
About it. I wouldn't put it. No, Uncharted 2 in my mind. I don't think we're ever gonna have a jump like that personally again.
No,
if we do, then fuck me.
Because if they're changing, if they're saying like Half-Life 2 changed the way shooters are made, obviously Uncharted 2 changed a lot of things with gaming and how,
agreed,
in terms of adventure and stuff. Mechanics.
It essentially rewrote the rulebook for single player experiences. Uncharted 2, really.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It has to be the top game.
This list isn't bad though. I'm not 100% against this list.
Yeah.
No.
I understand every game that's in there. Ones. Yeah. I just don't think Red Dead 2 should fit.
Yeah, I just think in terms of the rules and what they set out as their summary to say what should be included in their list, then it goes against that. But obviously, like God of War, Spider-Man, The Last of Us, it is obviously considered a great sequel in the franchise.
It's interesting because all of our listeners literally all had Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah. So
no one thought in that sort of sense, and
Yeah.
maybe they're not, even though they've said that it's got to be a sequel.
Yeah.
Is it just us being really, really picky?
Maybe, but we stuck with our rules, and I'm glad we did. We
Yes.
stuck by our
No,
principles.
absolutely.
But no, not totally against the list. Amar, Roy, if you're listening, I doubt you are, but if you are, just maybe think about that being a prequel. There's some interesting ones here we could look at. Top 10 boss battles of all time, which I think we did a boss battles episode for ourselves, but not like a
We did. We didn't
list,
look
which
at
is
a
hard
list.
to do because we haven't played
Yeah.
every game. Top 10 best crossovers, top 10 best video game franchises. That'd be an interesting one.
Difficult one.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo will dominate that, I think, personally. But cool. There you have it. That was our list, and that was their list. What do you think of both lists? Let us know in the comments. Who had the best list? Did we have the best list? Did Gaming.net have a better list? Do you disagree with our choices? I think I've got a feeling there's going to be a lot of people pissed off that we didn't have certain games, but let us know. We want to hear. Everyone's got their own opinion, and we don't mind hearing them. But until then, thank you for hanging out with us this week on the Late Night Gaming Podcast. If you do want to get in touch, drop your thoughts in the comments or tag us on socials at the Late Night Pods. We'd love to hear from you. You can also join our Discord using the link in the description, to be able to get your messages in before we record our episodes, just like Ben, Bigsy, Jack, and JJ Rose did this week. 4 of you, thank you so much for commenting in. If you enjoyed the episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe wherever you are listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Speaking of which, next time we'll be looking at major video game anniversaries in 2026. So don't miss that one. Until then, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I have been your host, Welchy, joined as always by my co-hosts, Andy.
Yeah, thank you as always. It's been a pleasure. See you in the next episode.
And Stephen.
Yeah, been a pleasure as always, and looking forward to seeing what milestones are coming up this year.
Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.